right, so UI. Let's talk about UI. UI in Unreal Engine is referred to as UMG, the Unreal something something. UMG Unreal. What does it stand for? Unreal Motion Graphics. That's what it stands for. UMG. So UMG is the UI system of Unreal. Um, and yeah, let's see. Let's actually. I'm gonna filter by assets that are related to user interface. Let's see. Where is it? User interface. There you go. So these are all the UI related assets in this game. Um, let's go ahead and play this. So first things first, we're on this menu level, and we get these this pop up, this like menu system. Let's go ahead and find that. So that's probably under main menu. Here we go. Here's UMG. So this is a widget. That's what they call the different UI components. So let's break this down. There's a few important components here that we're looking at. First things first, this box that I can drag around with this arrow on the bottom right. What this is doing is it's allowing us to visualize what this UI is going to look like at different screen scales. So we can drag this out to 1080, 1080p. This is what it'll look like on a 4K monitor. And this is what it'll look like on a really small, like Toshiba ThinkPad or something. There's a few other elements here. On the bottom left, we can see the hierarchy. So on the outside, we have like the actual widget. Inside of that, this canvas panel, I'm not actually 100% sure what this achieves, but it's sort of a container, I guess, to fix everything else into. Background blur. There's a few different things here. These guys on the corners, these are anchors. And anchors are what decide how a UI element is going to scale relative to your screen. So, you know, in Minecraft, if you have a bigger screen, your hotbar doesn't scale with it. Unless you turn up the GUI scale, your hotbar stays centered at the bottom of your screen. So it's anchored to the bottom center of your screen. Over here, if I click on anchors, I can pick anchors. I can say, hey, lock it to the bottom middle of the screen. Lock it to the middle of the screen, but don't scale it. Lock it to the middle of the screen, but scale it horizontally. So that's what that's doing. You know, that's what these anchors are. I can say scale it with this part of the screen, scale it with this part of the screen. You guys sort of understand what I'm getting at? It's a little difficult to visualize, but maybe if I did this, maybe if I scaled it like that, you would see an interesting effect. So let's go ahead and hit play. And now when I hit play, and I scale. Ooh, okay, that's actually not the best example.
Did you not save it, or?
Oh, I didn't. I don't think I did actually. Good point. Hold on. No, I hit compile. I think it should have updated.
Huh.
No, hold on. I think it's because the contents are anchored separately. The only thing that's changing is the background blur. So if I scaled the background blur like this, so that only half of the background is blurred, yeah, we can see it actually updated in real time. Oh boy, the editor is hanging because I hit play. Oh god, give me a second. There we go. Okay, play again, please. Please. There we go. So now, if I scale it like this, notice that the background blur is staying fixed, and it's not scaling with the screen. It's just staying fixed to the left half of the screen. It's yeah. So the anchors decide where things are going to be locked.
Like what it's relative to.
Yeah,
so it's only relative to the size of the left half of the screen.
Yeah, to this point, and it's not even trying to scale with the screen, I think. But yeah. So let me anchor this again to the entire screen, so that way it just attempts to stretch to fit the whole screen. Make the offsets 0. So yeah, like let's actually, I mean, I could try demonstrating how to build this menu from scratch. There's also a graph that's associated with every UI. So every widget class has this like editor section, and then there's a graph. And in that graph, you handle events like on clicked. When the play button is clicked, I open the level in here. This is not great practice. The reason that this isn't great practice is because UI elements should probably not do gameplay functionality. Gameplay functionality should be handled completely independently. Functionality like opening a level is you probably want some sort of like level manager class that you create that handles this when you're doing best practices. But when you're working on a game for a game jam, it's not happening. So don't feel bad, you know?
This is what we got.
This is exactly, yeah. On clicked credits button. So when you click the credits button, it opens up a different UI element. It creates an instance of another widget. It adds that widget to the viewport, and then it removes our current screen. So it's removing ourselves, adding a new widget. And then the tutorial button, when we click on the tutorial button, adds the tutorial widget to the screen and removes the current widget from the screen. So if I hit play, you can see that in action. When I click credits, it removes the other like thing that we were just looking at from the screen and replaces it with the credits screen. And what's the credits screen? Credits screen is where'd the tab go? Oh god. Oh man, I dragged the tab to like the bottom of the screen and it disappeared. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Window, um, uh, load layout, default layout. Oh my god, it reset the other. Okay, there we go. There we go. Cool. Yeah. So there's the. Okay, let me just put these tabs over to the main thing. Okay. Yeah. Here's the credits widget. So credits widget, and then there's a back button. And what does the back button do? The back button adds the main menu and removes the current widget. Again, this is like really shitty practice. Why is this bad? Because like, think about it. The widget is keeping track of what back is. Like the back button is hard coded to just send you to the main menu. What if you want to access the credit screen from another location? Like this isn't really how you should implement this functionality. But it's just showing how this sort of works. You click on this button over here. I go down here. I say event on hovered. Print string and hello. And I click compile and save. And now if we hit play, it's going to lag out. I click credits and I hover on this. Hello. Hover on it some more. Hello, hello, hello. Every time that we hover over it, it calls that event. Click back. We go back. Tutorial back. But yeah, see the back button isn't like some universal component. Again, if you're ever working with UI, you want to keep it as like object oriented as possible. Reuse certain components. So you should probably have like a universal back button that you reuse. But this was work a long time ago, so I was not using best practices at the time. I didn't really know my programming very well. I just was kind of doing things randomly. You want to keep things object oriented, so you would make like a back button that you would reuse. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about nesting. You can see here that there's a hierarchy, and we have this canvas panel, and the children of the canvas panel are background blur. And then this vertical box, which is the same as like a flex box if you've ever worked with CSS. And then we also have this just colored rectangle. And inside of this colored rectangle, we have a text block. And the text block reads Roman City Builder. And inside of the vertical box, we have some spaced out buttons. We have a spacer, a play button, a spacer, a credits button, a spacer, tutorial button. And these are like sitting inside of this essentially flex box. When I hit play, there's a lot of properties to these, so we can decide what sort of text these contain. The play button has text as a child of it. You can change the color. You can give it a custom shader. You can do all sorts of pretty cool things. The text, you can give it like a shadow if you wanted to. Let's see if we give it a shadow that has an alpha like that. Boom, shadow. You can do some really funny, cool effects with shadows as well. So yeah, yeah, there we go. Yeah, these are the basics of UI. There's a lot of sort of things available to you when it comes to user interfaces. We've got a lot of tools. There's man, what is this? Audio frequency radial slider. Yeah, this looks like a convenient icon. Pretty cool. Audio meter sliders. So if you want your player to have access to like some sort of slider thing, ooh, this guy is. Let's see if I turn up the value. That's the slider right there. It's this thing. It's a little bit difficult to see. I could try to make it a bit bigger, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like it really wants to get bigger. That's okay. Radial slider. So what does that look like? Yeah, I guess let's explore a little bit, right? I'll delete this. I'll delete this. Radial slider. Let's put that as a child of the blur. Nice, look at that. So a radial slider that you can like sort of drag. Let's see what it looks like when we, yeah, cool, very cool. What's the current value? 0. Oh, look at that. There's like it's like a bar that sort of loads in. So if we make this red, there we go. Nice, cool, radial slider. There's you can make text blocks where people can type in text. Checkbox. Checkbox sounds pretty cool. Let's give this a checkbox. Nice. Giant checkbox. Value, can we say, is it enabled? Checked image. Oh, that looks like a checkbox, but that's funny. Okay. Accessibility, interaction, behavior, performance, rendering, navigation, on state change, size it to content, style, appearance. Yeah, I don't, oh, it's a variable? Okay, wait, so, checkbox. How do we decide if it's checked or not? That's funny. I'm actually not sure where you would do that. It's not very clear. Check. Checked state. Here we go. Checked. Boom. Checked. Oh, there it is. It's so small. It is so small. So yeah, you would probably want to make this scale a little bit more. Christ, that's so tiny. It's like right there.
Yeah, that is magically small.
We can probably turn up the size to content. Like it's because it's an image file, so it's trying to it's trying to match the image size. If we go under style, I have a feeling that we could probably turn up the size of the checked image. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, but you see it's not like a vector graphic. I'm sure you could make this a vector graphic. Editor, what else do we have in here? Input. Combo box. Display a list of options to the user in a drop-down menu. Editable text. Text box. There's a tile view if you wanted to make an inventory system. Tile view is your tool. So we do tile view like that. And then, these are also designed to work pretty well with consoles, like gaming consoles. So there's going to be things like left, right, up, down, like how to navigate this with your keyboard versus a console. This tile view is expecting to have children. So if I give it like a button child, presumably. Okay, no, never mind. It wants a widget class. List entries. Here we go. Entry widget class. So we'd have to make another widget class for the entries that would go into the tile view. So let's say that they're all buttons. We go back. There we go. Now it's treating that class that we just made, which is just buttons, as the tiles. Entry width, entry height. Cool. If I recompile that, it updates. Yup, makes sense. If it gives you a preview button, very cool. We can give it some padding, some other properties. Like, yeah, pretty cool. This is for making an inventory system. Um, Miscellaneous, expandable areas, panels, a box that the user can scale, a vertical box, which just stacks things vertically, a stack box, which allows child widgets to be automatically laid out vertically or horizontally. So that's, I guess, like a flex box that automatically overflows based on a certain amount of width. Wow, yeah. I mean, there's so many options here. Throbber, a widget that shows several moving circles. Look at that. Ooh, cool. Loading screen effect. Circular throbber. That's what these are called. Background blur. User created. Wow, yeah, look at that. So these are the widgets that I created for the game. So we can actually drag in other widgets and treat them as components. So this is like if you make a button component that you want to reuse, it'll show up under user created. So you can always just yeah, always just work with these user created widgets. My consumption list, my credits widget is going to be the credit screen. The government, the entertainment. Yeah, these are like different widgets. Not using best practice here, but that's how I did things for this project. Okay, what else? Under user created, we also have advanced dynamic entry box, a panel that auto-generates its entries at both design time and runtime. Useful for cases when you can have a varying number of entries, but it isn't worth the effort or conceptual overhead to set up a list or tile view. Interesting. Yeah. So, like, guys, this can be pretty complex, right? UI is a very complicated area. But I'm gonna go ahead and close that, and I'm gonna close this project and not save anything. I just wanted to give you a taste of what's possible. We're actually gonna now walk through creating a new UI, probably in the context of a game jam. So this is another project from a long time ago. This is a project where a sort of horror game where Patrick Star is chasing us down. Here he is, terrifying. He's got like dripping mascara on his face or something.
Wow, Patrick looks adorable.
Yeah, no, he's a scary guy. I gave him like real skin too. Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's like pretty terrifying. And he's got like stubby legs. Very funny. So this is horror game Patrick.
The feared one.
The feared one. And what we need to do is give this game a UI. So let's get to that. First things first, let's look at the gameplay frameworks. This is going to be a retooling of. Let's go to maps and modes. So the default game mode right here is going to be. This is what like decides the player class, heads up display, like this game mode based class. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reorganize some of these. I'm gonna what do we have here? We have some visual effects. So let's put that in a folder. I'm gonna call this VFX, and the dirt mask that's driving our graphics. Put that in there. Level data, I'm gonna put in another folder as well. So, not mean to create that. Goodbye. New folder, level stuff is gonna be in here, and then Patrick, static mesh, and all things related to Patrick are gonna go in there. Patrick material, right? Here's Patrick, and then I'm gonna make a new folder called Pat and Pat Matt and Pat Stat. I'm gonna go in there. There we go. Okay, you. So this is the player. The player is a character class that is just able to walk around. Very nice. What else do I have in this world? We have BSP box brushes, which we talked about earlier. That's how this world is made. It's made out of these BSP brushes. Very cool. I am going to look at the post-process volume here, and I'm going to go ahead and enable lumen and enable generate mesh distance fields just to get some better effects. There you go. Allow distance fields out. Okay. Gonna restart the engine real quick so that we get slightly better lighting, take advantage of some of Unreal Engine 5's effects. Okay, here we go. It's restarting. And she is open. Nice. And of course it loads us into this other environment. So let's go to levels, level. There we go. And now we have lumen, so like light is actually seeping into our environment. Very nice. If I hit play, there's actually light coming in. Very cool. Everything is perhaps a little bit too bright. We'll adjust that in a minute. But there's Patrick chasing us down. And the lighting is significantly more, I guess, accurate. We can also make sure that our skylight is respecting our environment real quick. I know I said I'd work on UI, but I think this is important to getting this right. Can we do SLS captured scene? Maybe make this movable. Maybe delete the skylight, actually. Because who needs a skylight when you have lumen? And now, hopefully this lighting will be enough. Let's try this again. Yup, software ray tracing, very cool. There should be a little bit more ambient light everywhere. Yeah, okay, not bad, not bad. Not bad. Okay, so, let's also force no pre-computed lighting. And let's go to the world and make sure that the light source is doing indirect lighting, so that's kind of important. Distance field shadows, whatever, ray tracing. Can we do indirect lighting intensity? Let's turn up the ability for things to bounce. And oh, that's why, because this isn't set to movable. Here we go. If I just do movable, now the light is actually being like software ray traced. Very cool. If I rotate this a little bit as well, where is it? Where is it? Where to go? There it is. If I give that some rotation, should get some more lighting coming in. Come on, come on. I just want to see some more light in this like starter area. That's all. Want to be able to see what we're doing. There we go. Light is now coming in and hitting the ground, and we are still not seeing quite as much color as I'd like. Lumen, scene lighting strength is a 1. Let's turn that up. Interesting. I'm starting to give up on lumen real quick. I have a feeling that things are a little bit toned down. I set this to none. Lumen. None. Interesting. Lumen. Interesting. Yeah, whatever. Last thing I'm going to try is I'm going to try to visualize distance fields. Because I have a feeling that the environment is not generating distance fields because we're using BSP brushes. So if I do lit lumen overview, yeah, definitely not. There's no this isn't a static mesh, so it's not respecting these guys as actual like meshes of the environment. That makes sense. Okay, I'm not gonna bother anymore with the lighting features. I just wanted to see if we could get it working better. That's fine. If I make the floor be lumen, it'll look better. But I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna delete this. We still need the nav mesh. Sky sphere, that's fine. Reflection capture, we do not need. The point lights are fine. Instanced foliage? No, there's no foliage in here. Okay, all right. Nice, great. I'm happy. Go back to lit. So Okay. What we need to do is set up the UI. So as I was saying, if we go into project settings, we've got the gameplay framework. And the gameplay framework is all of this stuff right here, maps and modes. When the editor starts up, I want it to load us into our main level. When the game starts, I want this to load, maybe not into our main level. Let's make a main menu level. So I'm going to make a quick level here, and I'm going to call it main menu. And if I go to main menu, I save everything. Main menu is now a completely dark world. I'm going to go into the project settings and say when the game starts, load us into main menu. And I'm going to make a make some UI. I'm going to do under content. I'm going to say new folder, main menu, or UI. And under UI, I'm going to make a new folder called main menu. Main menu. And in the main menu, I'm going to create a new widget. So under user interface, widget blueprint. And it's going to be a user widget. I'm going to call this main menu UI. And in here, we have main menu UI. Let's go ahead and add some stuff. Let's add a canvas panel. Nice. I'm gonna call this main panel, and inside of this panel, let's go ahead and add a vertical box under. Let's see, where is it? Miscellaneous panel. It's under panel. Vertical box. Nice. And this vertical box, let's anchor it to the center of the screen. Let's offset the position by 0.5 on the x-axis such that it is centered. No, alignment. I'm sorry. If you go under alignment and you set it to 0.5, it'll align itself relative to the anchor. There we go. And then we can turn up the size and turn up the size a little bit. And we can give this some buttons. So we can make a button that says play, like so. And this button, play button, and I'm going to give this play button some text, like so. Play button text. And the text is going to say play. And I'm going to compile and save this, and I'm going to say when the play button is clicked, on clicked play button, load level instance by reference, and I'm going to pick the level, or excuse me, level, it's not load level instance, it's open level. Load level instance attempts to like spawn that level into our current world. So you can sort of spawn levels inside of levels. That is a thing. That's not what we're trying to do here. Okay, so now when we hit play, no UI. What's going on? Let's go back to our project settings and let's make a quick blueprint class. We're gonna call this the pawn, and I'm going to call this the menu pawn. So this is going to be the thing that automatically exists in the menu level and steals our player. So this is going to possess our soul, or it's going to force our soul to possess it. And this menu pawn, on event begin play, we're going to say get the player controller, which is the soul of the player. The player controller is what kind of handles what UI we're working with. And we're going to say add widget component. And the widget component, or okay, actually, widget instance, get add widget component. Sure, add widget component. The widget component that we're going to add is, let's see. Actually, if I just do widget like this, maybe. Viewport, widget, compile. We can change the widget class that we're working with here. Somewhere in here. No. User interface, interaction, advanced. Okay, sorry, this is not what we wanted. Excuse me. You go to it creates a new component and assigns ownership to the actor that this is called for. That's all we want. We want to do add widget to screen, add to viewport. The widget, create instance of the widget, variables. I think if we go here and we do widget, widget, user widget, class reference. And the user widget class that we want to work with is the one that I just made, which is called main menu UI. So if I go to main menu UI, like so, we want to instance create widget, like so, owning player controller, and then add to viewport. There we go, add to viewport. So what this is going to do, I'm sorry, this was it's a bit of a process here. If I actually delete this, I can just select it in here. So menu UI. So what we're doing here is construct object from class. Construct object from class. So this is saying instantiate a new class, and the class that we're doing is the main menu UI that we just created, like that. So we're constructing a new widget class, and then we're adding that widget class to our viewport. That's what we're doing here. So compile, save. When the game starts, this pawn, which is going to possess our soul immediately, is going to add it to the screen. And there it is. There it is. The next thing that we want to do is we also want to enable our mouse. So we're going to say set show cursor. And we're going to allow the cursor on this soul. The mouse cursor is part of the controller. So play. Now we have control of the cursor. I can click the button and it loads the level. Bang. Perfect. Perfect. That is working exactly how we wanted it to. Now, when we actually load into the level, sorry that was a bit of a grind. So let me work back through that, right? We have a pawn. We have a pawn. The pawn is set to auto possess player 0, which is the first like soul in our world. The game, from the project settings under maps and modes, we say when the game starts, the default map will be the main menu. In the main menu, there is nothing in the main menu except a single instance of our main menu pawn. The main menu pawn is set to automatically possess our soul, which is instantiated by default. And upon possessing us, the first thing that it does is it calls this event begin play event when the game starts running. Instantiates a new object. What object? The main menu UI class that we created. It assigns it to be owned by the player controller. I don't think that even matters. I can disconnect this. No one's going to care. We add it to the viewport, and then we enable the mouse cursor. And then we can see immediately that this main menu UI gets added to our screen. It just works. So back to play, it works. And then when we hit play, the main menu UI has under graph, we can see on clicked play button, open level, and it opens the main level that I've titled level, which is a pretty shitty name. But yeah, yeah. Okay, so there we go. Main menu UI, great. We can delete this variable. That was not part of the process. Now, the next thing that we want to do is maybe make a heads up display when we're working with Patrick. So let's go ahead and play around with the gameplay framework. So under maps and modes, default game mode base. Let's make our own quote unquote game mode. So I'm gonna call this escape the feared one underscore game mode. Save. And now we have control on all of these things. We have control on the default pawn. The default pawn should be the one that I've created called U. The HUD class, so we can create our own UI instance that will automatically be added. The player controller class. I'm fine with the default player controller. Game state class. There's a couple different ways to store things like the state of the game and synchronize it across multiple clients. Spectator class in case we want to use the spectator system. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this new blueprint one over here. Looks like I was already in the midst of doing that some time ago, so I'll go ahead and delete this. And it looks like hold on, let me go to the level, save, and if I go to the open level blueprint, we should actually see that the level blueprint allows us to override some things like that. So if I go to class settings, under no, I don't think it's happening in here. There is ways to override this stuff like per level, but and it seems like that's what's going on here, but I don't really, I'm gonna ignore that because what I'm saying here is when I try to delete this old game mode, it's saying that it's being referenced in the level. I'm not really sure where, but I'm gonna go ahead and delete it and we should be fine. When I hit play, it takes us into the level. Very good. Escape the feared one. So this now wants to reference some sort of HUD. Let's make our own HUD class. So I'm gonna click the plus button. Under UI, I'm gonna create new HUD, and then we're inside of the new HUD class. And if we go to class settings, yeah, this is like a heads-up display class. I believe that this is where we're expected to handle things like the UI and the different widgets and stuff. So inside of the heads-up display class, we can do on event begin play, create object, or construct object from class. And what we want to do here is make a new UI class. So we're going to call this the gameplay UI user widget, gameplay UI. And the gameplay UI, I'm going to give it a target cursor in the middle of our screen. So I'm going to do a could do an image, we could do probably a vector graphic, but I'm gonna do an image like this, and I'm going to do I'm going to just put this in the middle of the screen. So we have to anchor this first. And to anchor it, we got to use the canvas panel. That's what the canvas panel allows us to do, is those anchors. So canvas panel, oh, let's delete this actually. Canvas panel, there we go. And then now we can anchor it. So we do image, excuse me, and we can anchor the image to the canvas panel. So we can say anchor it to the center, and we can delete the position offsets, set the alignment to 0.5, which is saying halfway through the X and Y axis should be the center relative to the anchor. And this will be our, the thing we want. Let's make that a square. And then here we can do a crosshair. So crosshair image. I'm going to go ahead and download a transparent crosshair image. Here we go. We could do, yeah, crosshair icon. Sure, why not? Save image, save it to my downloads, and then import it into Unreal. So import downloads. Don't worry about that. All right, here we go. Gameplay UI, and under brush, change the image to the download. There it is. Beautiful. We can change the tint, make it like red or black probably. Unfortunately, it's white by default. Maybe if we cranked it up, but we can't because it's just black, so it's multiplying those black values by absolutely nothing. It's probably good to have a white cursor so that you can adjust it, because black is not, you're not able to adjust that. Yeah, now if we hit play, I think what's going to happen... Oh, we have an unresolved error. Blueprint failed to compile. Why are you mad? Oh, because we're not spawning the class, right? So gameplay UI, right? Gameplay UI. Okay, wait, UI. Oh my. What did I call this? I called it gameplay UI. Gameplay UI. There it is. Must have made a typo earlier. Compile, add to viewport. Boop. You're probably thinking, what's the difference between add to viewport or add to player screen? I'm also wondering. I'm asking myself the same exact thing. Adds the widget to the game's viewport in a section dedicated to the player. This is valuable in the split screen game when you only need to show a widget over a player's portion of the viewport. Aha. So Unreal Engine has a bit of a framework for when you're doing split screen stuff. But we're not doing split screen stuff, so add to viewport will work just as well. And now we should be good to go. That HUD class should automatically add that to our screen. I don't actually see it, so I'm wondering if it's working. It's possible that it's not properly anchored to the middle of the screen. Nope, there it is. I see it. It's in the middle of the screen. Very nice. Very nice. We have like a crosshair now. Can aim at Patrick. Go away. Unfortunately, clicking doesn't shoot anything, but we do have a crosshair on the middle of our screen. You can kind of see it there. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Let's see what else we can do. So that HUD class, this is where the UI stuff should be handled. Yeah, okay. This is really good. We could probably make this a little bit bigger. So maybe make this, let's see. Does that work? Oh, no, I guess that gets overridden by 32 by 32. Let's change the size X, size Y. Maybe make this like 300 by 300 so that our crosshair is a little bit bigger. Play the game again, see if it works. It works. There we go. There's the crosshair in the middle of the screen. Interesting. I think the crosshair is being scaled by the viewport. So you can see, yeah, crosshair is definitely scaling up and down with the viewport size on these different axes. Patrick's going to be coming for us any second now. We should probably run. Oh boy. Terrifying. So let's probably adjust that scaling. We don't want this to scale. We just want it to be locked in the middle of the screen. Let's figure out how to fix that. So I'm going to hit stop. I think I accidentally... Where is it? Here it is. Oh no, I did the same thing as last time. Let's do Windows Shift left arrow, right arrow. There we go. All right. So, it's also very important to name these things. I'm going to name this crosshair so that we know what we're working with. And we don't want this to scale with the anchor. So, how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? Rendering, clipping, inherit, no, navigation, localization, events, render transform, scale. Yeah, I think this is what is being affected by the viewport. I'm not sure if there's a way to lock it in there. Behavior, we can give it a tooltip so when people hover over it, it tells them like an idea of what to do. But presumably, we just want the size to be locked, which you would think Anchor would handle this just fine. Yeah, it's interesting that I'm seeing it scale with the viewport. I wouldn't expect that behavior. Like, should definitely not be getting smaller. but
Is it
it's
because the widget size itself is scaling with the viewport?
yeah, probably. It's actually I don't know. I can't like it's barely. I don't know if it's getting taller. Hold on, I'm gonna follow it with my finger. No, yeah, it's definitely. I mean, like it's definitely getting smaller, but it's not getting much smaller. It's not scaling as
Mhm.
dramatically as I would have expected it to.
Yeah, I think it's like maxing out on like the shortest vertice. It's like because it's wider than it is tall.
Yeah,
It caps that in height right now.
yeah, something like that. Definitely something like that. Um, hmm. Well, we could. Oh, canvas. Maybe. Yeah, it's definitely maybe. You have a good point about the fact that the widget itself is scaling. So if we adjust some of the details of the canvas panel here, we might be able to get better results. Like if we uh, prevent the um,
Can you just make the scale 0, or would that just like delete itself?
it would just yeah. This is definitely the thing that's changing though. Like this
Mhm.
the canvas panel here is what's scaling up and down and making it like a little bit fatter or taller. Um yeah, I mean we can see I think it's just trying to preserve its resolution in terms of pixels.
Mhm.
Whereas and it is an image, so I guess that makes sense. If we weren't using an image, if we were using like a button or something that was
Mhm.
programmatically set to be an exact width and height, might work a little bit better.
Give it numbers rather than a percentage.
Yeah, something like that. Um, something to look into. I'm not gonna worry about that
Mhm.
right now, but definitely something to look into. Maybe if I just made this a direct child of the thing without the canvas panel. Whoa. Control X, delete, Control V. Okay, now the crosshair is the entire screen. That's funny. Um, appearance, image size. Yeah. It's I don't think render transform. We can try to scale that to like a reasonable amount, but I have a feeling that this is going to just try to stretch across the entire screen. Let's go ahead and see. It's kind of nicer to have all the tabs in one window. There we go.
Mhm.
Hit play. Yeah, it's sort of just scaling with the screen. It's not bad. It's just yeah. This is definitely something to look into. I forget how to do this
Mhm.
with best practices, but yeah. Yeah, I don't actually. There's not too much more to like explore here. There's obviously there's a lot to explore, but it's all very like case specific, right? I mean, if you
Mhm.
this uniform grid panel, like if you were doing an inventory system is not something that I can build in the next like 40 minutes. It is a little bit more complicated
Yeah.
and advanced than that, but hopefully this gives you an idea of how to work with UIs. The fact that we made like a menu level and we quickly made a pawn that just grabs your soul and spawns the main menu widget is a really important thing for game jams. Like a lot of game jams, people don't even make a main menu; they just load you straight into the game. And I think having a main menu
Mhm.
is a really good look. Um, yeah. So yeah. Um, it's definitely important. um, what we could do is we could try to make a static mesh out of all of these. Um, that would be kind of cool, an interesting next step. But I just really want to get the lighting to look better because currently the lighting is not bouncing off of these BSP brushes, so bit annoying. Um, yeah, yeah. Uh, Not too much else to say here. It's a new animation mode. Right? Yeah. HUD class. This is the HUD class. This is where you should store things. Maybe we could give Patrick a health bar. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll tell you about 3D widgets. So you know how we have like a widget like on our screen. That's great and all, but how do you make a health bar that floats above an actor? That's important. So health bars that like actually follow objects around. That's definitely like a really fundamental thing. So let's look at Patrick. Let's look at his class. You should go to Pat, the feared one. Here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to add a widget. And this is going to be pretty much just a 2D UI element, but it renders in 3D space. So we add this widget, and we're going to make it the health bar widget. Oh, this is great. I really should have done this. So I'm going to add a variable to Patrick called health. And health is going to be a float value that has a max value of 100 and a minimum value of it doesn't really matter. Compile, save, default health 100. Compile, great. Value is private. Yeah. And then the widget here, the widget we're going to tie directly to this health value. In fact, I'm going to make this health value public. And this health widget, we need to adjust what class this is. Where do we adjust what widget class this is specifically referencing? Somewhere here. Space, world space, timing policy, real time. Widget class, there it is. Okay, so let's make a Patrick health widget. So user interface, widget blueprint, user widget. I'm going to call this health bar. And the health bar widget is going to be designed to simply be a progress bar. And it is going to, yeah, it's just going to be a health bar. Going to make it red. Nice. Great. Tooltip text in case you hover over it. Patrick's health. Lidl. Compile. I'm gonna call this health bar display. Compile and save, and I'm gonna bind this to a variable. I'm gonna say maybe I'm gonna give it a constructor. Maybe I'm gonna give it a constructor, or can we even give these a constructor? I don't think we can. Bind widgets. No. Graph. Event construct. Can we do? Yeah, on event construct, we should have this variable, this local variable called health. Where is it? How do we do variables? Graph, variable, variables. I'm gonna do a health bar health value. So health value, and I'm gonna make this be editable, expose on spawn. Yes. Compile, save. And I'm gonna make it instance editable and save. Okay, so and finally we can also take this and we want to bind the value. So see the percent value right here to health value. And health value is going to be a 0 to 1 float. So this health value, the second that this changes, this will instantly update to reflect it. So if the health value is set to 0, if it's set to 1, we should see a full red bar. Back to the designer. Oh, it's not really visualizing it, is it? Health value, compile, save. Yeah, whatever. Oh, interesting. Fill from center. Oh, that's cool. Fill from center, horizontal. That's interesting. Bottom to top, whatever. Left to right. Okay. Okay. So the next thing is in Patrick. What we want to do is on event begin play. So see event tick, he finds the player, and we just do move to the player, and he uses his character stuff. Let's do event begin play. Widget right here is going to be okay. Widget is going to be using the Healthbar UI. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Gonna make this kind of smaller and gonna make this hover above his head. Nice. And the world space, I'm gonna make it be screen space instead. So this actually just tries to follow the screen. Why is it so small? Okay, hold on. Can we reset this? Compile, save. Is this working? I don't even know if this is working. Maybe I need to hit play. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, all right. So it's being rendered in screen space right now. Kind of difficult to see Patrick. Let's go in here and we should be able to modify these values in real time. So here he is. Nice, it is hovering above him, but it's a little thick. So if we go to Patrick and we adjust the draw size, maybe we pause this. Oh, okay. I guess we have to exit here. We only want this thing to only be a couple of pixels tall. I wish that we could visualize this, but it's not letting us visualize it. That's kind of annoying. On the y-axis, this probably doesn't need to be more than like 50 pixels tall. 500 pixels wide is about right, though. It did look about right. Let's do play again. Oh, that's a little bit much. Maybe
Could you set it to the other type and then visualize it and then change it back? Or?
If it's in world space, yeah, absolutely. Though in world space, it's going to it's going to
Values might be different.
it might continue to point at us, but it might also just be like locked to him. Yeah, world space is probably the right answer. Okay, yeah. So you see, it's not following.
Turns with him.
It turns with him. It does turn with him. Yeah. It's not bad. You know, like that's I can live with
Super
that.
glowy.
It is quite glowy. Yeah, I think it's technically emissive, so it's being injected into the bloom filter. Oh, he decided to go the other way. Come get some. Come get some, Patrick. Nice. What I'm gonna do next is back in our character. So where's you? Here's you. I'm gonna say on click just mouse. Left mouse button. On left mouse button pressed. Line trace by channel from get screen space position, break this, and oh no, not screen space position. Get camera, get position of the player's perspective. I pretty much want to see like the center of the screen. I guess get actor location. Why not? This is like where the like line trace. Oh, we should probably just do get line trace under cursor. Yeah. Get line trace or line trace, excuse me. Line trace by channel. Okay, yeah, no, never mind. Cursor position, get world position, cursor, get player controller, and then under the player controller, get cursor, get hit result under cursor by channel. That's what we wanted. There we go. And then hit result, break, hit result, and if the on press line trace by channel from the actor location, start at actor location and end at wherever the mouse cursor was pointing, and also debug it for a few seconds, for 5 seconds. Compile, save. Let's go ahead and hit play. This should let us shoot. There we go. Okay, my mouse cursor is invisibly in all sorts of random places. That's why it's not coming out exactly in the middle of my screen. That's cool. My mouse cursor is like invisibly looking at different places. So here I am clicking on Patrick. Because the mouse cursor is like drifting around. We can't see it, but it is. So maybe if we do, this is like I'm cheating here. Like this is the cheapest possible solution. I feel really stupid right now. There should be a quick way to get like the camera position and just fire a ray out of it, but I'm forgetting how to do that right now, and I don't want to look it up. So I'm going to instead do center. Okay, cursor. Set cursor. Set mouse position, and I'm going to set this to get screen, get viewport size, and I'm just gonna divide by 2. Boom, and then boom, and so gonna essentially set the mouse position before we shoot, and that should work. Recenter the mouse every time that we shoot, and now, oh, it crashed. That's crazy. Is this like an infinite? Oh no, we're fine. Okay, there we go. And now
it
it's, yeah, now it's shooting. So it's recentering the mouse every time that we click. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to say if we hit Patrick, make Patrick take damage. So here's Patrick, right? We're gonna add a function on Patrick called take damage. And the damage amount is going to be a float damage, and on take damage we set health to whatever get health minus the damage value, and then we do a check if or compare if it is less than 0, print string, it's Jover. Okay. And then, just like that, what we want to do now is under U, we say if what we hit, break hit result, the other actor cast to Pat, cast to the feared one. That's his name. And we're going to attempt to claim that the other generic actor is the feared one. And cast failed is you missed, nerd. And if we do successfully hit him, take damage, and we're going to do 5 units of damage to him. Compile, save, very good. And then, finally, back in Patrick, we have not attached the health bar yet. So let's make sure this works. You missed, nerd. So we're clicking on the walls and it's not hitting him, so the cast is failing. However, when we do hit him, oh, it's still saying that we missed. And that's because the line trace over here is tracing, oh no, it's tracing by visibility. But did you see those red lines? They were going through him. They weren't hitting him. So
Yeah, that's...
visibility, trace complex, interesting. What if we, yeah, trace visibility, line trace by channel, visibility channel. Does he not have collision? He should have collision. Let's go over here. Let's, because it is checking on his collision. Collision. Simulate generates hit events. Yes. There we go. That might be the difference that we needed. Let's try this again. We missed. Come here, Patrick. Come here. Still saying you miss nerd, and they're going right through him. Very interesting. Why is that? Um, simulate updates component, whatever. Yeah, static mesh. Yeah. Capsule component. The capsule component should also generate hit events. Collision presets pawn. The static mesh collision presets character mesh. Um, fascinating. Okay, let's let's give us another try real quick. Um, maybe the capsule component will hit better. Come here. They're passing right through him. That's so weird. That's so weird. We're line tracing.
Can you walk through Patrick?
No. We can't.
So then the collision should be working, should it not? That's
It
weird.
should definitely be working. Yeah, this is really weird. We're tracing on.
Does the like trace line not actually have collision? Or no? I guess it's the visibility.
No.
Huh?
It should. It should. Yeah. If there's a hit, no, that's really weird. Line trace under cursor by channel. We're tracing on the visibility channel, and the visibility collision channel collides with essentially everything. Um, um, Man, that's really strange. That's actually like so strange. I'm kind of uncertain about what's happening here. We uh um huh. No, that's crazy. The uh man, that's weird. That's so weird. Um what? Like
It should be working, but it's not.
uh uh I don't want to click simulate physics on the static mesh. He's just gonna ragdoll and in like a really weird way. Um, the capsule collider should 100% be colliding. Overlap all. How about that? Let's give him some extra meaty collision. Come here. Come here. Oh, I think he like exploded through the floor or something because he's like, not here. Patrick. Yep. Okay.
There he goes.
Yeah. This might be a problem. Let's do. Oh, I set it to overlap all. I'm sorry, block all. That's where we went. Overlap means that it can just pass through everything. It's like no clip. Okay, here we go. Come on, Patrick. I just want to make his health bar go down. There we wait. I think we're hitting him because yeah, the line is stopping.
Oh, it's stopping at him.
Yep.
It's just still saying that you missed.
No. It's hitting him. It's just,
sometimes it's okay.
Yeah, it's hitting him for the most part.
Are some of the hits hitting the other shot? You think? Is that why they're saying that?
I don't know, but look, we're getting it's Jover. His health has now dropped at the I think what's happening is they're passing through his bones. So he does have like collision associated with individual bones. Patrick is a static mesh. So if we look at the static mesh over here, you can see if we go to the physical asset tool, here's the physics asset. Yeah, these are the collision meshes. So I'm guessing what's happening is we're hitting like some of these and passing through other ones. So we might have passed through the gap right here. There is a gap. I think we were hitting dead center a little bit. So if we adjust these, we'll do a little bit better. That might actually work a lot better.
Oh, those are all the bones.
Yeah, these are all the well, this is the collision of the individual
Or the
bones.
collision boxes.
Yeah. So we click play again.
It's like Tarkov.
Yeah, just like Tarkov. Isn't there there were some issues in like TF2 where you could we're really not missing him anymore. I think we were just shooting through him a couple of times. Yep. Every shot is landing. Oh, some shots are still passing through him. That is odd. Even though they're like literally not. So I feel feel like what's happening there is we're hitting maybe we're hitting the did I hold on, let's go back to the code here for
I
you.
was gonna say, could you hit the line?
I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure what's going on here. Doesn't matter. Whatever. We're mostly hitting him. Okay. Well, I would look into that, but
It's kind of working.
it's kind of working. It's kind of working. Exactly. Now under take damage, I'm going to do one more thing here. We're also going to on the widget, we're going to set the default value. Wait. The widget is the. Hold on. Let me delete this. Can I delete this? Cannot delete this. This is the widget component. Widget set set. So okay. I see what's going on here. What we need to do is on event begin play, we need to appropriately cast to menu, no, to health bar. Okay, wait, cast to health bar. What object? This widget. Compile and save. Warning, health bar does not inherit from widget component. Cast to health bar would always fail. But this widget is using health bar. So hold on, okay. Get class returns the class. No, that's not what we want. Get widget. There we go. Get widget. And then this widget is going to be, there we go. Yeah, now it's happy. Does it know that this is a health bar? No, it just knows that it's a widget. So now as a health bar, promote to variable. And this is the like local reference that we're keeping of the actual health bar component that lives inside of this 3D widget component. And the health bar component, we're going to say get health bar. We're going to do set health. And we're going to set the health value to whatever the new health value is divided by 100. Because remember, it was expecting a 0 to 1 value. So divided by 100, plug that in there. Run that here. Run that here. Run that. Doesn't really matter. Yeah. There we go. And now, here we go. You should have a full health bar. Come here, Patrick. There we go. Click. Yeah, there we go. We're hurting him. He's taking damage. Go away. It's working. Very nice. Super bright. You're totally right.
What happens when it hits 0?
It's just, he just starts saying it's Jover. Yeah, there we go. It's Jover. But it's just white. Yeah. Great. I mean, we could add some game over screen and load like a game over level. But yeah, honestly, I think this was pretty insightful. So let's work back through what we did here. We added a widget component to Patrick. We made sure that the widget class that it's using is a health bar. We set up the health bar class so that in the health bar, oh, it's under Patrick, isn't it? Pat. Yeah, this health bar class is set up such that the value, the percent value of the progress bar element is bound to this variable, this health value variable. And this stuff doesn't actually matter. It doesn't matter. So what we're doing is we're accessing that health bar variable. So we're going inside of the feared one. We're saying when he takes damage, when the feared one takes damage, subtract from our health value, set our health value accordingly, and then also update the health bar's health value. So we get the health bar, update its health value, and we also compare to see that if it's less than 0, let's print a different string. I mean, obviously you could do something else over here. You could kill Patrick, you could spawn some particle system, you could make him ragdoll. In fact, actually, let's make him ragdoll. Set simulate physics. There we go. Now we'll see him ragdoll when he dies. And yeah, uh, uh, yeah. Now under the um, yeah, and that's basically it. Under us, what we're doing is we're saying every time that we click, set the mouse to be in the center of the screen, and then find the spot under the mouse, which is somewhere in the distance in the center of the screen in world space, and draw a line from us to that point. And if we hit something along that line, um, uh, check to see if it's Patrick. If it isn't Patrick, you missed. And if it is Patrick, call the take damage function on Patrick. And now, let's see Patrick Ragdoll. I still don't know why some of these rays are not going through him. Or are going through him, rather. It feels like every other ray is kind of traveling through him. Let's see him Ragdoll. Here we go. Oh. And he falls through the floor. But he totally ragdolled a little bit for a second there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can catch him.
He just had nothing to hit.
Before he despawns. Oh, I think he's already despawned. He made it to the world boundary. Pretty funny. So yeah, there we go. There we go. I have nothing to add. That is it.
Nice.
It's 8:40. We totally finished this one a little bit earlier than I expected, but I honestly, I don't think there's much worth adding here. What you should know is that you can bind values. That's like the most important takeaway here. So values of different variables inside of UI elements can be bound to the properties of the elements. So here, like, this means that we don't need to call some sort of function. We don't need to say progress bar dot update every time that health value changes. Instead, this just automatically keeps track of when health value updates, and when health value updates, it changes itself. There's a 0 code in here.
Yeah, you can link a widget to a variable that's connected to a blueprint somewhere else.
Yes, and then you have to do the work in the blueprint, but the variable just kind of hangs around.
Yeah, the widget still exists, like, kind of on its own thing.
Exactly.
You just have variables for if you want to mess with it.
Exactly. We can also what else? The one other thing is, like,
I'm gonna go. Thanks for today.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope this was helpful.
Yeah.
See ya. There's nested components, like, but I showed that a little bit earlier in the Roman video game thing, where, like, you can make a component, a UI component, and then, like, instantiate it inside of another UI element. So once you have, like, a generic UI element called, like, I don't know, item UI, and it could have a variable that's the image that changes, and, like, or just some enumerator that's like, this is logs, and this is sticks, and this is, like, wooden planks, and this is a crafting table, like, and all these different items would use the same UI element, but they might look up from, like, a data table to identify what they should display, what image should they display, what's their maximum stack value, stuff like that. I haven't really discussed data tables, but they're a whole thing in here. There's under, like, utilities or something, there's some, I'm trying to remember where it is. I think if I start typing data, oh, it only searches inside of the, oh, there we go, data. Yeah, data. You can make a data table, and you can use this to look stuff up. So I don't know what this row structure is, but interesting. Yeah, okay, so I guess you have to define a row structure first, but this is how you would do, like, mass data entry. You could import stuff from a spreadsheet and just keep tabs of all the, like, possible items in your game and all of their properties inside of this, like, giant JSON object. That's not a terrible idea for quick statistics and editing and stuff. Yeah, that's everything. That is everything.
I wanted to ask something about, like, a lighting thing. So for this game, right? Like, obviously everything's really fucking bright.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, does this have a vignette on it?
I think so. Yeah. Let's see. Post-process volume. Let's go to the details.
Yeah, it does. You could see it.
Yeah. You're right. You're totally right. A big part of this is the exposure settings. So if our exposure setting is turned up in such a way that like it doesn't allow itself to get bright enough or dark enough, like everything's just gonna look super bright. Like these lights are
Yeah, the
just
lighting looks like club.
yeah, yeah. What we should do, the reason that it's so contrasty is because it's not simulating bounces. In real life, this light would bounce off of the walls just fine,
Yeah,
and then this
it would
whole
reflect
area
in
would
the
be
whole like room.
yeah, exactly. Like the sunlight that's coming in here would be enough to brighten this room. So what we
Yeah.
can do is, I'm
So
gonna
you just have a bunch of glare and like no ray tracing.
yeah, I'm gonna spend a minute or two here and just fix that because it's bothering me a
I was
lot
gonna
as
say,
well.
could you even like make it darker by going into the post process volume or wherever we went before and just kind of like make the world dark? I can't remember how
Yeah,
you did that.
yeah. So we could go under exposure here and we could play
Hmm.
with these EV values.
Yeah, that one.
So if we turn uh, the max EV down,
It was
uh,
a great talk. I'm gonna have to head off
thank you.
myself as well.
Sure,
see you
yeah. Take care, man. See ya.
Thank you.
Um, I'm trying here. Let's see. That didn't really help. It doesn't help because it's the contrast, right? I mean, the only thing that we could
Mhm.
really do to fix that is like apply some sort of contrast filter that reduces the lighting contrast.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, when you raised the minimum EV, it like kind of turned it down, did it not?
it does. It turns down the max brightness, so now everything is just really dark. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
we absolutely could do that, and
I
then
mean that. I think that kind of works.
it does. It
Maybe not
does.
that much, but
It does, but then
tweakable.
we lose some of the like like we could increase the radii of the light here, which would allow it
Mhm.
to spread farther.
Mhm.
Sorry, that's the light source radius. If we turn up the attenuation radius, this will let the light do exponential fall off farther away.
Mhm.
Um, but still, for the fall off to actually like make it that far, we need to adjust the attenuation. And I know that's in here somewhere, or is it not? It might be intentionally somewhat disabled. Let's see, light function.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you think it could be a little odd just because it's like purple and green as well, or?
I don't think that's a big part of the problem, but we could mess around. If I turn up the attenuation radius here, where's the exponential fall off? I'm forgetting where there's a fall off setting here somewhere. Like
There's a button and it's not doing the thing.
yeah. No, there's definitely a here fall off. Inverse squared fall off. If I disable that, we can turn down the fall off exponent and make light propagate through space in like a exceptional manner. There we go. There we go. Now there's crazy purple light that reaches everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever. Like that's not really. Oh boy, 80,000 candelas, the force of the sun. Um, yeah, where was that? What the hell? Like fall off. Inverse squared.
Advanced light.
It was it. Yeah, I guess it's under advanced, under light advanced. That's crazy. Let's turn this up. Turn up the attenuation radius. Whoa, and I still can't even like see it. What the hell? It's so dark.
I think you hit a checkbox and turned it off.
No. It was
No?
no. It's definitely on. It's just the oh there we go. The intensity slider was all the way down. There we go. Okay. No, I'm gonna actually make these use bounce lighting, and everything's gonna look a million times better because now the world is just really dark. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna do box brush, go under general, and do is it cooking or is it somewhere in
Oh
here?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted to ask you something. So I've never used LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
how does that connections thing work exactly?
Oh,
Just
the reference in the other game. Yeah, it's just like if you're looking for people, you're trying to like find someone on LinkedIn, it won't let
Mhm.
you it won't let you
You
like
gotta have like a
see
mutual.
it won't let you see who they are, yeah, unless you have like a mutual connection. And it doesn't have to be
Gotcha.
like a first mutual connection. It could be like a like two hops. mutual connection, you know, friend of a friend.
You're a friend of a friend. Yeah.
Or a friend of a friend of a friend. But there's a certain like limit. I think it's like 3 hops. If someone is farther than like 2 or 3 hops away, it doesn't let you see who they are, which I think is pretty funny. Yeah. This is okay. This is the like room subtractive brush. I'm trying to brush settings. Where's the advanced create static mesh? Here we go. Create static mesh. Nice. Okay. Is it in there? Box brush static mesh. Does that mean that I can get rid of this now? And we're still... Oh, no. Certainly not. Damn. What? Wait, oh, no. Is this not... Oh, it didn't, like, preserve the hollow aspects of the... Wait. Create static mesh. Solidity. Semi-solid. Solid. Create static mesh. Create. Ah. Drat. Drat. That's so rough.
Oh my god. Oh, did you stop the recording?
No, I'm still recording because I think it's...
okay.
Let me try wireframe mode. Okay, yeah, so it only preserved the exterior of the mesh. That's a little bit disappointing. Yeah. I'm definitely missing something here. Like now with Nanite, there's been some tools in Unreal Engine for a while now that let you very quickly just hold on. Let me. There's got to be a way to convert multiple BSPs to static mesh Unreal. There's got to be a way to do this. I'm gonna stop the recording at 9. I think we have another like 10 minutes here. Is it possible to convert multiple BSP brushes? Select every part of your geometry. Static meshes, no, if you select them all. Okay, apparently if you select them all and do something here. Edit, visibility, transform, move to, replace selected actors, that'd be cool. Yeah, that's really disappointing. There's gotta be a way. Is it possible to export multiple BSP brushes as a grouped static mesh? Select all the brushes in the map and export them. Wow, thank you so much. I was wondering how to get the pivot adjusted. Can I export them as one object so I can easily import them to Maya? Right now I have to export each brush, convert it into a static mesh one at a time. Select all the brushes and export them. What do I do? File export? Export selected. Oh heck. Oh, that's great. Alright, wait, desktop, FBX, great. Okay, import, desktop, the thing that we just did, what was it, untitled? Level.fbx, import, no way, no way. No way. Woo. Wow, alright. Look at that.
Awesome.
That's crazy. Okay, and then I should be able to just delete these bad boys. I mean, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Goodbye. Boop. And boop. And then now, got this, and it's got the interior. There we go. The interior is actually all that we really care about, so that's kind of funny. There we go. We want the interior to be two-sided, though. What else is missing from this? Something else is... Oh, can we do, like, lighting only? Okay. So, are these triangles missing? What am I seeing here? Why is there, like, light bleeding through? Who knows? And more importantly, like, what is this? You know, where did that come from?
Yeah, what is that?
Oh, it's the inside of the window. It's the inside of every window. I got it. Okay, it doesn't really matter. We can make these be two-sided so that the light doesn't clip through. So I'm going to just delete all of these guys and delete all of these guys. And I'm going to... Actually, oh, I cannot undo that, can I? Oh, I cannot. Okay, what we could have done is drag them all to the same position, and it should have probably preserved them. Doesn't matter. This guy, if we give this guy a material that says that he's two-sided, so general world grid material, instead of doing that, we can, oh, whatever, we can make the world grid material two-sided, so we just have to click in here and check a box that says that it's two-sided, and it should start blocking light, even though it's not optimal. That's not very two-sided.
No, it doesn't appear to be.
To use two-sided lighting, shadow two-sided. Cool. Save. Okay. Alright. Let's visualize lumen. Okay, yep. So lumen is working. Interesting. That's, whoa, look at that.
That is impressive.
But it is more or less working. This is not the best way to build a level. Like, Lumen prefers it when you make levels out of modular pieces, because it has a limit that is set for giving
Like
different...
a single piece.
It has a limit per piece of how it creates these caches on the surfaces of objects, and when photons bump into those caches, it keeps track of them, and it has a limit of like 12 cache surfaces per object, something like that. So if you go over that amount, it's not happy. That's sort of what we're seeing happening here. Just get this positioned exactly as things were. Very nice. Still pretty dark, but if I now go to the post-process volume and I disable our exposure shenanigans that we did a minute ago, under post-process, under all, exposure, turn these off. Okay, can start to see again. Very good. Oh man, it is looking much worse than before. Love it when that happens. Perfect, perfect, exactly, excellent. If I set this to static, but I set these guys to stationary, force no pre-computed lighting is checked. Can we do build? Yes, we probably can. Excellent. If I press P to visualize navigation, oh boy, the nav mesh has, oh god, there's no more nav mesh. The nav mesh was playing nicely with BSPs, but it's not playing nicely anymore. And the collision is inside of this thing, so it spawned us on the surface. Yeah, all right, I fricked this up. I'm not gonna bother anymore. Yeah, look at this. So notice that the nav mesh is like out here hovering in the air
on the outside,
and that's because the collision of this thing. Look, if we go to the static mesh editor and we do visualize collision, do show simple collision, that's the collision box right now that it generated for this thing. So in order to fix that, we need to select it, delete the collision, and set the collision by default to be complex. So if we do collision, we can do double-sided geometry, collision complexity, use complex collision. And complex collision is saying just simulate it perfectly, like per pixel per like triangle. And now, if we go back to the nav mesh and we move this thing just a little bit to force the nav mesh to rerun, maybe. We probably have to click on the nav mesh volume and ask it to rerun. Let's see. Navigation. Rerun, please. There's usually like there's a button, typically, that you press to rerun the navigation. It's not, Can't seem to find it. Whatever. Hit play. Oh, there we go. Well, we're inside of it now. That's good. We're colliding with things. Patrick is not moving, but we can still hit him. And the lighting is absolutely not bouncing. But if we fix the placement of these point lights, we're probably seeing some bouncing going on. I could tweak the lumen settings inside of the post-process volume to see if it's actually working. We go down to global illumination and we do none. This is no global illumination. This is... Yeah, okay, it's working. It's totally working. Yeah, we're getting global illumination. There's green on the other side of Patrick. It's just the light is really bright, so we can turn down some of the brightness now that we're operating with more realistic values. A little bit less brightness here as well. Turn down the bloom effect that we're getting. Yeah, okay. There's lighting is bouncing. We're getting some lighting bleeding through here. That's kind of a difficult thing to avoid. One way that we can fix that is with contact shadows. So the main light source here, we can change the types of shadows that this thing casts. We can say instead of using cascaded shadow maps that go really far away, make the cascaded shadow maps be shorter and make this light stationary. There's no time of day cycle. We can say distance field shadows, which sometimes work a little bit better. Advanced. There shouldn't be... See, this preview stuff that you're seeing everywhere, this is because it thinks that there should be static lighting, but there is no static lighting, which is kind of whack, because I specifically checked the force no pre-computed lighting button over here, and yet it's putting preview everywhere, which is a little bit absurd. Remove preview.
Do you have to change it off of static in the mobility thing, or does that not?
No. Build light doesn't remove preview text. It doesn't remove preview text when I export the video. Project settings render unbuilt preview shadows in game. To clean the watermark, it has to either use virtual shadow maps. Oh, okay, this is related to the virtual shadow map stuff that they added, right? Which I'm not totally familiar with. There's a new feature for how shadows are computed, and it's called virtual shadow maps. And I don't quite know exactly how they work, but it's a new feature as of Unreal Engine 5.3, and it is completely replacing the entire shadow system in Unreal. It allows for unlimited shadow detail at like infinite distance. It's ridiculous. It's really overpowered. But and it's more efficient than like cascaded shadow maps as well. But for whatever reason, there's something called contact shadows, which we could enable here. If we turn up contact shadows, that helps with the light bleeding. Contact shadows like look closely at contact shadow length and world space. We can like the contact shadows tries to eliminate some of these seams, but yeah, this is, I mean, this is
like
just
cast a shadow on like the edges of stuff to try and
like really small centimeter long shadows when things are like barely touching. It tries to fix that. And it's a screen space effect if I remember correctly, but oh man, what a grind! What a grind! Yeah, always something there. Virtual shadow maps. I think it's probably because I converted this project over from an old version of Unreal, and virtual shadow maps are shadow maps. Yeah, virtual shadow maps. That's what it wants. That's what it wants. Missing project settings. Yup, that's what it's complaining about. It's because this was made in like 2014 or something, And it's missing literally like a chunk of the project settings. Platforms Windows D3D12. Platforms Windows D3D12. Project settings. Scroll down. Platforms Windows S shader model 6, the more modern shader model, which is now the default. There we go. Shader model 6. Yeah. Failed to save map data packages.
Oh no.
Stop saving all assets. Why? Why? No. Oh, whatever.
I think I do remember seeing something that was telling me to turn on shader model 6. Oh, that's a cool background.
It's such a this is just old. That's all. Like
Mhm.
the reason that we're having these effects is because it's an old version of Unreal. All right.
Mhm.
All right. Are we? All right. Virtual shadow maps are, I guess, now in.
Looks like it's still a preview.
It is. But the seams are looking a little bit better, a little bit different than they were looking before. Also, if we enable nanite for the building here, that will help because the nanite and the virtual shadow maps kind of work together. Okay. Save. Close this. I thought it might. I suspect.
Wait, on?
Hmm?
Is it nanite on?
Nanite's on, yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Oh, it looks better now.
A little bit, yeah. Yep. The seams are somewhat fixed.
Would that work if you just made it like thicker?
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is not following good practice at all. You definitely want this to be a thicker sort of thing.
Mhm.
Here's nanite's definitely working. There we go.
You could block out those shadows by putting a big square above them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think then you're really messing with bodging stuff together.
The other thing here is we can change the number of cards. So max lumen cards, remember when I said like 12? We can turn this up to 32 or something ridiculous. And now lumen will attempt to place more surfaces.
So like it'll reflect more light?
Yeah, but it's not doing a good job. See, look, there's like, you see on the top left corner, it's like the
it's like
surface
just
is
gone.
too thin. Yeah, it's not respecting it. Oh, and that's because of distance fields. The distance fields have to be two-sided. So that's why. Two-sided distance fields. Yeah, there we go. And then if I close this, it's going to ask me to rebuild them. Yes, please rebuild the two-sided distance fields. And now, never mind, absolutely no effect. Distance
It
fields.
was a eureka moment, and then it wasn't.
Well, it is. Distance fields are part of the problem here.
Mhm.
So if we go to,
Getting closer.
we are getting closer. If we go to, I want to be able to see the distance fields. Come on, please just let me visualize the distance fields. It's really not, is it? It's not going to let me. Okay, distance field resolution scale. If we turn this up, if we do, this generate mesh distance field was disabled. Bruh, okay, yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Jesus, yeah, distance field, so we can turn this up, so the distance field's resolution scale, does not have a tooltip. Scale, the default is 1. I guess we can turn this up, so we can do like 2? I think that's more, that might be less though. Let's rebuild the distance fields. Alright, Christ alive, finally. I forgot. Again, this is all because this is an old project. Because by default, like, that should have generated the second that we imported it.
Seems to be something wrong with the other.
We just saw them coming in.
Oh.
Okay, look, they're higher resolution
now. They're smaller.
Well, yeah, they're higher resolution, but yeah, it's in general, this is just littered with terrible practices. But hopefully we've learned a little something about debugging lighting.
This is what we call spaghetti code in Unreal Engine.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, the bounce lighting is definitely not really quite working in here as well as it could be. And those previews, man, it's all because this was made on Unreal Engine 4.2, so 4.21 or something, 4.22, and
A long time ago.
I ported it over, yeah, just for the sake of today's tutorial. But we learned about the health bar and the UI. I'm gonna stop the recording. This has been a whole lot of fun.
Eventful.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, yeah.